the SS Chicora, built by the Detroit Dry Dock Company and launched on June 26, 1892. She was operated by the Graham and Morton Transportation Company, and she was also completed on July of 1892. She was a type passenger cargo ship, and she had a tonnage of 1,123 tons. She had an overall length of 200 feet, with a beam of 40 feet, a depth of 15 feet, and for propulsion, she had a triple expansion steam engine. She could reach speeds of 15.5 knots, and she had a crew of 21. The Chicora was a wooden-hulled, screw-propelled passenger cargo ship. Her cost was $150,000, and the Chicora was launched from the Builders Orleans Street Yard at about 3 p.m. on June 26, 1892 again. The Chicora was licensed to carry about 1,500 passengers as a summer excursion boat. She also had passenger accommodations, which included 56 staterooms, sleeping quarters for 200, and a large smoking room for spacious social hall gatherings. Her passenger cabins, grand staircase, and gangways were all finished with mahogany. She also had an electric plant which provided power for the ship's 250 lights on her. On her off-season, the Chicora was used for freight, and she was built especially stout and had a 6-inch, 15-centimeter outer plank and 3 waterproof compartments as well. The Chicora was described as a masterpiece with lines as symmetrical and beautiful as any yacht. She was also considered to be the premier ship of the Graham and Morton Line Company and one of the finest vessels on Lake Michigan for her time, also gaining the title Queen Mary of the lake. In January of 1895, the SS Chicora had been tied up for the winter at St. Joseph, Michigan, when her owners had received a request to deliver a shipment of late winter flour from Milwaukee. The Chicora's captain, Captain Edward C. Stines of St. Joseph, readied his ship and left for Milwaukee early Sunday morning on January 20th. One of the peculiar and tragic ironies of the voyage occurred when the captain, finding himself short of crew members, signed on his 23-year-old son to replace his second mate, who was not feeling well and ill at the time. The next day, an unusually pleasant January 21st, had found the SS Chicora ready for the return run across the lake. The Chicora left the dock at 5 a.m., which was only 10 minutes ahead of a messenger boy who had arrived at the dock with a telegraph from the ship's owner, John Graham, which was warning the captain not to sail because the barometer was failing fast at Benton Harbor. The SS Chicora would have been about midway across the lake when the winds began to shift to the southwest and blowing with a very typical January fury across them. Later that day, the ship was reported overdue, and telegrams were sent up and down the Michigan coast to alert all harbors to keep watch for the vessel if she had appeared. There were several eyewitness reports which were fueled by rumors that the ship was in trouble. There was a South Haven man which reported seeing a ship heading towards shore with its stern down and sinking. A vessel was also seen headed for South Haven, obviously in trouble and blowing her horn continuously. Finally, at last, the storm gave up, and a dozen men from Saugatuck ventured out onto the ice and found a line of wreckage frozen into the ice about 3/4 miles from the shore, stretching from Saugatuck to South Haven. The newspaper was reporting an 8-foot square portion of decking, and some oars and both masts were found less than half a mile apart from each other. Also during the first week in February, a Chicago-based tug reported seeing sightings of a hulk floating on the open water with crew members still alive. W.J. Hannock, a regular clerk of the SS Chicora who missed the sailing, was sent to the southern part of the lake to investigate these reports. After renting a tug, he reported seeing only a dark iceberg covered with seagulls. There were no bodies ever recovered, and no wreckage more than substantial than superstructure and masts were ever found. All 21 crew members and 1 passenger went down with the Chicora. And that will do it for the story of the SS Chicora. My goodness, if only she had waited another 10 minutes for that messenger boy with the telegraph to arrive from the owners and the operators telling her, don't go out. That's quite different, because oftentimes we usually hear of these big corporate companies pushing for ships to go out last minute into the lateness of the season, but this time was not that case. Man, what a tragedy. If only it had been just a few more minutes that they could have waited, or maybe the boy would have shown up sooner, I don't know. But what a very sad tragedy that it seems like it was a gorgeous ship, and they fought desperately for their lives, and as well as anyone could, out on a horrible storm on Lake Michigan to weather that. But I hope and pray this video gives those men just a shred of respect and honor and light brought to their story of the Chicora and its sinking on Lake Michigan. But that will do it for this episode, and I thank you again, guys, so very much for joining me on another episode of Songs of the Great Lakes. Again, I wish you all a very happy new year, and very much cannot wait to see what 2025 brings and what we can expect for this channel. I hope there's some good things in store here, and we will see what comes. So thank you again, everybody, for just an incredible start to 2024 with this channel and just how things have gone. I could never have imagined the support I've received from you guys, and just the interest in these stories, and surviving people that know some of these ship stories and you would be interested in possibly telling your story. Definitely reach out to me and let me know, or if you know somebody. And with that said, God bless you guys, and look forward again to the next episode, and I will see you guys next time.